Democrats don't want you to know this, but walls work.
Ah, it burns! It burns! Ah!
Oh god, another right-wing conspiracy from a triggered conservative. What good is gonna come out of this video?
If walls don't work, then why do we protect the White House with one? If walls don't work, then why does Nancy Pelosi have a large fortress outside of her house?
Well, there are a lot of reasons for not having a border wall. Just because private walls, or in the White House's case, publicly funded walls, that keep in mind that only protects a small pot of land, that doesn't mean borders are justified. So nice association fallacy, idiot.
If walls don't work, then why do we send foreign aid to help other nations build their own walls?
Just because we do it doesn't make it right, moron.
The fact is that they do work, and even CNN's Jim Acosta would agree.
This is a very safe community, and that they don't see migrants coming into their community causing a lot of crime and mayhem.
Anecdotal evidence is not evidence that a wall works. Do I have to say anything else?
There is no simple solution to the immigration crisis at our border, but why should we sit back and do absolutely nothing as millions of illegals bring crime and diseases into our country? How can we look at what's happening over in Europe as a result of open borders and think, gee, this is a good prescription for here in the United States?
Also wrong. It's not the immigrants, it's the economical structure of Europe. Once the immigrants enter the country, they have no way to get a license. They can't get a reliable or legal education. They have no way to get a job because they don't have a license. And because they can't get a license, they can't get a house to support themselves. So that's why they're in poverty. And the more in poverty people are, the more likely they're going to do crime.
The fact is that we can't. And our republic is doomed if we sit back and let this invasion crumble our nation.
Wrong! Turns out, immigrants do less crime than the average American citizen. According to the Pew Research Center, there were 11 million immigrants in 1990 to early 2000s. And also, according to OnlineLiberty.com, when immigrants entered the country at that time, illegally mind you, there were less reports of immigrants doing crime than your average American citizen. Sources will be linked in the description below.
The cost of a wall is high. There's no denying the $5 billion price tag placed on the wall is a lot of money, but in comparison to the $116 billion that United States taxpayers spend on illegal immigrants annually, it becomes a bit of a no-brainer that spending $5 billion to save taxpayers over $110 billion each year is a price worth paying. Open border proponents argue that it's immoral to build walls and restrict movement, but I contend that it's immoral to let your nation be overrun with violent third worlders that burden us with a $116 billion price tag and will vote to take away our freedoms. It's immoral to pretend that it's compassionate to give freebies to people on the taxpayer dime.
It's also moral to enslave any minorities because they're lazy and stupid. It's also moral to exterminate all the Jews because they're trying to control the earth. You can literally play this morality game with fucking anything. This is why I don't take conservatives or liberals seriously.
Now, I'll often see open border advocates try to say that while the wall is well intentioned, it won't actually work to stop illegal immigration since, they'll just dig tunnels or swim or fly over the wall. But if we look at other nations that have actually built walls, such as Hungary and Israel, their statistics tell us a much different story. Hungary used to see tens of thousands of legal immigrants come over their border just a few years ago. But since erecting a wall, Hungary's illegal immigration problem has nearly evaporated.
You have no sources in your videos. You don't even have anything in your description, for Christ's sakes. So...
Citation needed. Citation fucking needed.
In the month prior to building a wall, 100,000 illegals poured over their borders. The next month, there were only 315 border crossings.
So what? All you're doing is keeping out people you don't like, bigot.
In 2002, Israel began construction of their security fence after 484 Israelis were murdered by terrorists that year. The next year, after 112 miles of the fence were built, the number of Israelis killed by terrorists was cut in half. And just 4 years later, the number of Israelis killed by terrorists was reduced to just 14.
Citation needed. Citation fucking needed.
The most telling part of these numbers is that Hamas has a very sophisticated network of tunnels that run underneath the Israeli border, and yet the security fence was still able to successfully reduce the number of Israelis murdered by terrorists by 97%.
Well, again, if you go back to 109, then you can see how poverty creates crime, and also, citation needed.
If that's not proof that walls work, then I don't really know what is. What if we were able to reduce our illegal immigration problems in this country by 97%? President Trump said in his Oval Office address last week that 266,000 illegal immigrants with a criminal record are arrested each year, 4,000 of which commit violent murders.
I guess we can cut the video right here because he moves on to nothing new and already proven these topics wrong. So I don't feel like repeating myself over and over again. If you want to check out the original video, links will be in the description below. Anyway guys, my name is Thirsty Fox and have a nice day.